Good day, golfers. Today we have a very exciting video for you where we're going to talk about creating more speed and more power in your golf game using the ground.
Justin, when you ask your students to generate a little more club head speed, what's the first thing that they do?
They swing their arms much faster.
Exactly. Golfers in general, think that by swinging the arms faster, you're going to generate club head speed, but that's not where the distance comes from. It's not where the club head speed comes from. It comes from something called ground force, and using your lower half more efficiently is going to get you more distance, basically. Think about a baseball player in outfield, right? If that baseball player is in the outfield and they want to throw a ball to home plate, do they throw with just their arm? Or do they load up on their rear foot, they use the ground, they push off, they transfer the weight, they turn their hips, and then release the ball? That's how you get power in any sport. Again, it's ground force. Justin, explain to everyone how you use ground force in the golf swing.
So the simplest way that I like to talk about it with junior golfers all the way up to adults is think about jumping only using your upper body. If I said, okay, jump as high as you can, use your shoulders, you really wouldn't be able to get off the ground. If I said, okay, now I want you to squat as low as you can and press off the ground, and you can jump so much higher, and people go, wow, I could really feel the difference. You can see the power that I created by using the ground and going lower. Now, it's not just the pushing off. Kelly said it before, it's actually the push, the shift, and the rotate that all happen at the same time to produce that speed and that power.
Yeah, so let me explain to you at different positions in the golf swing where your weight is and where the most efficient, optimal place for it to be is.
Great.
I'll get behind this ball right here. When I set up to hit a driver let's stick with a driver. My weight is going to be about 50-50 when I set up. With an iron, maybe I'll lean a little more towards my front foot, but with the woods, I'm going to be a little more balanced. At this point, I take that club back and my weight is shifting with me, and when my lead arm is parallel to the ground, I've got somewhere between 70 and 80% on my trail leg. My leg is staying bent. I'm really feeling the weight at this point in my trail leg. Now I go ahead and turn a little more, and as I do, my weight actually kind of starts to shift to my front foot. I shift then, I use my front knee and I pull my weight over. By the time my arm is parallel to the ground again, I've got 80% of my weight on that lead thigh, and I'm ready then to turn my hips and explode up, as Justin discussed. That exploding up, you see some of the guys on tour, they're on their toes, or Lexi Thompson, and notoriously is always on her toes, because that weight, that thrust, we call it upward thrust, is actually accelerating the club. People think that, here's another point about this. You actually will stop your hips at this point from rotating, and you're thrusting upward. It's kind of like this. If I had a whip, Justin, and I wanted to whip you, I wouldn't whip you like this, right? What I would do is I would have the energy in my elbow. I would stop my elbow then would transfer the weight to my hand would stop, my hand would transfer the weight to the whip, and you'd get hip. I wouldn't do this, that's not even gonna hurt, it's that whipping action. That's kind of what the golf swing is. I load up on my rear foot, I shift my weight so I'm over my front leg, and then I stop, I turn my hips at about 40 degrees, I stop my hips from turning, and I go up. And when I do that, all of that energy from the ground just goes from body part to my hands, to the shaft, to the club head.
Yep. And so understanding that the ground is really where force is produced, it's the only way to create more speed and power in the golf swing. We want you to stop trying to hit it as hard as you can because it's not efficient. Your arms won't go as fast as your body will. You have a lot more muscles in your legs, your core, and your back than you do in your arms. So use the ground. Think about that jumping and rotating sensation at the same time, and we know that this is going to help you produce more speed and power and hit longer drives.